A&R Room on Sway in the Morning.
As you know, Rich Nice is in the building. I was talking about this 9-time Grammy-nominated record producer. I got to ask him how many he's won. But to me, this guy is one of the most versatile, if not the most versatile. If you look back at his discography and the different kind of works he's done, to me, he's one of the most well-rounded producers there is in the game, hands down. And I think if you ask your favorite producers, they would agree. And if you look at some of the work he's done, I was just watching Sex and the City this past weekend. I know I talked to him about it before, but every time I see his name on that movie, I go, wow, this dude has done an incredible job silently. The Departed, Blood Diamond, Zoolander, on the Mike Tyson documentary, Celine Dion, Jasmine Sullivan, Leona Lewis, Corinne Bailey Ray. I mean, the names go on and on. Amy Winehouse, the Fugees, Fergie, Estelle, Miguel, Black Dot. Woo! I mean, the names go on and on and on. And if you listen to all these names I'm naming, it's people from different genres. It's people you might even consider genrelists. And that's nearly impossible to do unless you're somebody who is very well equipped and, most importantly, extremely gifted. And this is something that this man has been able to accomplish, and we wanted to have him up here to celebrate Black Music Month. And he's doing something really special, as Rich Nice told us about earlier.
Yeah, he's releasing a new piece of music every month in a different genre every week for the whole month of June.
Yeah.
And this is something that honestly is unprecedented. Even labels don't do things like this. They will kind of stick to one genre and say, this is going to be the month we release a bunch of hip hop or we release a bunch of R&B. But he's taken it upon himself to kind of put that, that flag and plant it and say, this is going to be the month that we just create new music in all genres.
In 2019 alone, I said, let me see how many projects has he done, because I know he did the Marvin Gaye, My Last Chance, a Salaam remix project. He's also did the Do It For The Culture 2, featuring him, featuring also Amy Winehouse and Nas, Stephen Marley. He worked with Bun B, Betty Wright, Smith & Wesson, Nitty Scott, which was incredible, Bodega Bam, Sprague Benz, Terrence Martin. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. That's all in 2019, Rich. We got the one and only Salaam Remi is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo. What's up?
I felt like I was boring you talking about your own accomplishments, man.
Big up.
I forget. Actually.
You forget, right?
I forget. I try to live in the moment, so I actually forget what I did yesterday almost sometimes.
On purpose?
Yeah, because it's like I described to somebody yesterday. It's like when you're driving forward, you drive and you try to focus on the road in front of you and not really focus on what happened already. So I'm just excited about what's next. And yeah, it's a harvest season for me. I've been sitting down creating for a while, and now I have a lot of music to share.
Does that process help you keep it fresh for yourself? Or because if you kind of linger in the past, you kind of recreate the past, and if you kind of let the past be the past, it helps you come up with fresh ideas? Or
for me, I mean, the last time that I came through, I put out a project I called Do It For The Culture, where I put out 50 songs at one time. And at that time, it was 5 or 6 different albums: the Champagne Flutes, No Ponte, which included Joel, Bodega Bam's Nitty Scott, Sex All Summer, myself and C.J. Hilton. What else did I do? Mira May, artist from the UK who's bubbling now, who actually got her first, EP. That was the second EP that was released during that process. And then Come Through and Chill for Miguel, which was 2016, but it still was nominated this past Grammys and still went on to go gold and have its life. So what I did was I really got into it and said, you know what, let me sit down and see what happens if I just make music for me. And in that process, I think I came up with a whole nother wave again and kind of replanted myself in the root of the music. And that's what you're going to be hearing all year. Instead of putting it all out at one time, I'm just going to continue to keep coming back every few days with another piece of music that I feel confident and strong about.
Salaam Remi, today we're going to talk about the joint EP with Joell Ortiz called Box Talk, what I had a chance to listen to, and Joell is such an incredible MC. Oh my gosh. But I want to get this. This would be a good time, because now that you're here, there was this Twitter conversation going on about what is a real producer. And I think it was based around people were comparing DJ Khaled to Quincy Jones because of the success of his recent projects over the years and building these compilation projects of various artists and having this kind of success that he's had. I mean, he's had a lot of success. He's streamed a lot of music. He's done a lot of tours, and we saw his star rise on him. And I went back and we found this clip DB and I was talking about of you and Amy Winehouse, and it was something that she said that I wanted to trigger this conversation.
I know I'm onto a good thing with Salaam. Salaam and I are very insular. We work quite closely and together. We don't talk to anyone else. A lot of producers are quite, like, how can we do that? Or that's never been done before. But they're just like, cool, let's do this, let's do that.
And I helped push her creativity out. It was like, okay, you're pushing me. Can I say this? Yes, you can say that. I can swear? Yes, you can swear. She was excited about all those things.
Just hearing you say that gives people insight on what goes on inside of a producer's mind and a producer's room. Right. When you hear this conversation about these comparisons, what in your opinion, and I think everything is relative to the individual, but what is a producer? What does a producer do? And do you think that's a fair comparison to Quincy Jones for DJ Khaled?
I think that, first of all, with a producer, the main job of a producer is to be responsible for the product.
Okay.
Where's the product? What do you have? What are we producing? Cans. Okay, we're producing cans. You got the metal, you got the design, you got the piece. Does it look right? Did it go to the right places? Is it marketed right for what your intention is? For a producer, musically speaking, just like a film producer doesn't necessarily write the film. They don't necessarily star in the film. They're not necessarily the noisiest person, but they're responsible for the process that gets it done. And I think, music producer is similar. You have to know what the good mix is. Does the mix sound right? Is the song strong enough? What would be right for this artist? What's right for the process? Are we feeling great about what's going on here? There are different origins. Khaled was a DJ who, if you look back 20 years, Khaled was doing mixtapes. When I first came to know him in the 90s, when around the time when Wyclef did Thugs Angels, I think it was called, and Khaled was around. He was in the Shotters movie. He was doing different things, but he always would be getting dub plates and down with the reggae scene, and him and Bounty Killer and doing different things and building it up. I think his albums now is just that he has a whole nother. Now he's able to get Justin Bieber or Rihanna on a record and put it together the same way. This is the sample I want to use. This is the vibe I want to use. Everything else. Quincy Jones comes from being a trumpet player to being, Ray Charles dude, to being a musician, to working with Sinatra. So it's kind of like different genres. I think they're both responsible for what they need to do, but Quincy's been doing 65 years, and it's hard to put Khaled next to Quincy because he's dealing with a different set of content. But will Khaled still be here in 20 years doing something? 98% chance, yeah.
And then that's when you can have this conversation.
Yeah, it's just the time is the difference. You have to tell a different time,
Okay.
Comparing yourself to Quincy Jones, you have to really get up, get down 25 times. And when you watch his doc and realize how many times he's gotten up and gotten down and still came back around, he produced Thriller at 50, so go figure.
Thriller at 50, damn.
Should technology be part of that conversation? Because Quincy composed and arranged and wrote and things like that, versus Khaled has the technology now where somebody could just email a verse and he can just stick it right on a beat. You know what I mean? And
I wouldn't say that because that's a musicianship. That's not necessarily that. I mean, I could make a beat on GarageBand right now that might be better than what somebody did with the orchestra. It doesn't make a difference. Okay. I show kids all the time, Angie Martinez had brought her son in my house. He wants to produce. I was like, let me see your phone. And I showed him how to make the beats he likes, that's Blueface or whatever type beats, on his phone. He was like, I didn't realize I had this in here.
Wow.
Everybody with an iPhone has GarageBand in there, whether you realize it or not. And you can make a beat that sounds damn good on your phone. I can. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about what you're doing with it. It's not really about whether he composed it or not. I mean, I was a sample king. My dad called me Looper Vandross. I know how to make something out of samples. That's what I did. But at the same time,
Looper Vandross?
That was his joke for me. Play some music, man.
Fire.
Here comes Looper. You know what I'm saying? Got more records, Loop it. You know what I'm saying? He used to be killing me. But at the same time, I've gotten to the point now where I also know how to play. And that's the evolution of where I am now. So part of my do it for the culture is me and Terrace Martin jamming. We both can sample. We both have sample. We both produce hip hop, but we also can play from the jam, from the bottom up. So it's a different life.
Salaam Remi. What I find knowing. It would take us, at least 20 minutes to name all the things you've been involved with, at least what we can look up, not even considering the things that we don't know, perhaps that aren't celebrated. And I still find it a shame how, when it comes to the music business, that people like you and others still are short-sighted when it comes to receiving compensation. And I was reading this article a couple months back, and I want to ask you about it to see how much validity is in it. And it talked about you and your company putting a lawsuit, having to sue Sony for back royalties of about $750K from back in 2012, was it? Or dating back that far?
Yeah, I mean, well, directly what that is, at the time, I was executive vice president of music and production at Sony for 5 years.
Okay.
We're under the tutelage of Mr. Doug Morris, probably one of the greatest CEOs who's been in the music business.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned a lot of the music business and what the protocol was and what the things were that was supposed to happen. So during that process, at the end of it, I looked around and said, but wait a minute, I'm a creator. I'm a producer. And I looked around, I have 30, 40 records in here. So I was able to look at my business and say, wow, my P&L says this, but I think there's something else here. So I started an audit process about 18 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And in the audit, I didn't see everything that I was supposed to see. So then I just pressed harder because I have the ability to do so. And at this point in my career, I'm pushing 50. I look like a kid, but I'm pushing 50.
Yeah,
and I feel like
got the baby face kid.
Yes, but I feel like at this point, it's all about, is the deal right? Does it look right? Are the numbers right? And I took upon the liberty of myself to press for everybody else to make sure that I was able to make sure that the deals are coming out right and that the numbers look right. And I think there's some numbers missing. Those numbers I didn't file a real lawsuit. I just kind of gave a nudge. They're trying to work it out, but if it's not right, you're gonna see a real number.
But being a what was your title? The
executive vice president,
EVP
of the whole company.
Of the whole company,
right?
And still, the deal didn't look right when you went back to get your expenditures.
The numbers didn't look right. So I mean, at the end of the day, I know it's off. They know it's off. Bob Stringer and everybody else there, they sat next to me. I was on the executive floor of the whole company worldwide, so I'm clear on what it is. But once again, I also know better, and I'm going to push for things because, it's not only about promoting black executives and giving people deals. It's about paying them and dealing with black entrepreneurs during Black Music Month that are going to get what they're supposed to get. So, yeah, there's some shorts there. We're going to fix that up, and I'm going to be on top of it because, you said something earlier about people getting short-sighted in different levels of it, and it really just comes down to do you want the glitz? Do you want them to be rich or famous? I'm not trying to be rich, but give me all the mines. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for proper accounting based upon the deal that I signed. That's all it comes down to.
That's fair. And if this is happening to you, imagine how many other black artists that this has happened to.
A lot of people don't have. I read something the other day. It was talking about financial freedom.
Yeah.
And then it talked about physical wealth. Time wealth. Right now, what I have is time to make the music I want to make and to make sure the deals look like I want them to look. That's it. So what you're going to hear from me is music that I want to make. If I've been producing since 1986 on record, since I was a kid before that.
Was it the Curtis Blow joint?
Curtis Blow.
Okay.
I helped my dad. He did the record. Questlove clowned me the other day on the group chat. I felt bad. Thanks, Quest.
What do you say?
Like, you just like, sorry, Salaam. No whack hip hop records. It was something like that. But whatever it was, that was cool. That was in. I got better.
Okay.
But the bottom line is I've been doing this a really long time, and my whole process now is about reshaping what I want to do. So all you're gonna hear from me is music that's rooted in where I come from, black music, gospel, soul. Got a whole lot of reggae dropping this year, a whole lot of jazz, my Fire and Blues label. A whole lot of energy that just feels right, and then I'm on top of my BI. You know what I'm saying? Because if you pay me right for what I want to do, then I won't have to do what you want me to do.
Salaam Remi. Hey man, how many Grammys is it?
I have 0.
You never what? All these projects?
No, I never won a Grammy. I mean, I've been involved with projects that won Grammys, but I've never actually won them. Whether it was the Fugees or Amy Winehouse, I never won one.
Oh, you didn't get one even though you were involved.
Nah,
that's not how that works.
Different pieces. I got a lot of nominations, but after a while, once again, thank you to Naris. I am a recording arts master. I'm not a performing arts master. I don't get up and dance and hit the stage. But recording arts, coming out of a speaker, that's my thing. But I'm not necessarily up for the pageant because ultimately what happens is you have 8 people that get up that are all really good, but only one's going to win. So the 7 people going home not feeling great. And I saw that the last year, like, you know, a lot of people it was like balance us out a little bit after the last couple of years. And then it's still like you got more people there, but only one person's going to be the winner and everybody else is second fiddle. So it's not a great feeling, you know. And after you sit down, like, you know, I've sat there and now I know the sections. I sit down, I look around, I'm like, oh man, I'm in the loser section. I look up at the stage, like, ain't no way I'm getting over there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
too far away.
Nah, this is the loser section. And I know what the loser section looks like. I'm like, oh man,
Like,
damn. You got your friends texting you, hey, Salaam, can you give me some popcorn?
So then you go, you know, I got my certificate this week for Come Through and Chill, which was an achievement because I was an artist on Come Through and Chilling and that was something I did for Do It For The Culture. I gave it away on SoundCloud at first. Hey, let's put it out. And it eventually got where it was. So it was an achievement. So the nomination is really like, okay, you're getting a great look and appreciate that. But then it's hard to just stand there. It's like, no, you got 8 kids. I really like you. You know, y'all good. But I like you. You like all 8 of them gonna be like throwing shit. You know? Everybody gonna be mad. That ain't it.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, it's cool. But I'm not here for the pageant. I'm not here for the politics. I'm here for the organic life of making the music that's going to last forever, having a real conversation and letting that be my mark, because that's the mark I want to leave more than if I won the Grammys, if I made a bunch of money, this and that and the third. That's cool. But what about this life? What about this actual conversation that I'm inspiring that inspires people I don't know? What about that feeling you get when that song comes on, you be beating the wall? Like, I don't know who made this, but I love it. Most of the songs that we love, we never saw them. And that's part of what the Box Talk is about, because it's about the songs that I taped off the radio. Some of those beats on the project, they came off cassettes.
They came off cassettes?
Cassettes, my old beat tapes, my old 1200 discs back in the days. I was just pulling up stuff, and I was like, Dad, this is crazy. Let's do something.
So you sampled them off your cassettes? Or?
Put them right in the Pro Tools, and we rhymed on them.
Wow.
And so these are all, like, beats you made in the past?
Sampling yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I do that all day. And I do it now because I play live and then sample myself, but I just went back in. You know, it's about digitizing my entire life's work. So, you know, there it is. Box Talk actually, it sounds like it's off a cassette because some of it is directly from there. And Keeping On, the first track on the EP, is straight off a cassette for real.
The keeping it on. We're gonna play that. We got Salaam Remi here. You want to talk with him? 888-742-3345. This project is out now.
Right now.
Box Talk.
Big up Joell.
Joell Ortiz. Sway in the morning. Y'all call up, man.
Yeah. Check.
There it is right there, Keeping On. That's off the new project, Box Talk. It's out right now. We got esteemed producer Salaam Remi's here. We're in the middle of the A&R room. Rich Nice.
Yes.
Now, Rich and Salaam are really good friends. Sometimes I could come over Rich's house and, you know, he don't answer the door. And then he'll answer the door. He's on the phone giggling. I'm like, oh, he must be talking with Salaam.
Giggling. There we go.
Right.
Just
Of
like
all
that.
terms.
Wow,
Just like that. You hear him giggle?
When you know people since the 80s, it's like this kind of other little laugh.
Yeah.
You got to run ongoing jokes for over like 25 years, code names for people. You know.
Yo, hey, Salaam funny as hell, too. I would walk in on conversations and be like, what the hell? You can't have these conversations on there, though.
No.
No.
So wait, I want to continue some of this Black Music Month conversation, particularly about the ownership and the executive part of it.
Right.
And recently, the motion picture Shaft has somehow managed to exclude Isaac Hayes from the new film. And to me, it's a little weird because the actual brand was created with Shaft, and because of his music that propelled the film and the soundtrack into our lives and into the world. How does something like that happen, that someone's able to withdraw or extract something that's so major to this particular brand?
I'm not sure how it happened in this case. I mean, I had met with Tim Story early out about different things that he was working on, and I'd actually had conversations with Isaac Hayes III.
Right.
He wrote a piece in it in Billboard about his frustration about being excluded because supposedly he got on the phone with Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema.
He spoke to everyone, and I know them all very well as I've worked on films with them, Sex and the City, etc. But I'm not sure exactly what the process or what the reasoning was. I don't know if it was something else that happened. Also, is it something where is that actually owned by Isaac Hayes, or is it going through another publisher or an administrator, Warner Chappell or somebody?
You don't
the deal
know that.
Not able to be struck that made sense if they were going to use it 10 times in the film? Was it Like, I don't know what the business
They
of it was.
redid the anthem though.
They re-record because Isaac Hayes redid it for the 2000 version.
Yeah.
And then Isaac Hayes III wanted to redo it for this version. But like you said, he got on the phone and according to him, he said that there was the estate that owns the rights to the original recordings,
So
that
there
he
you
had
go.
some unreleased masters and things like that, and
He has a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah,
right.
so
Oh,
he
tons
wanted
of music.
He wanted to put it together and create something new and fresh.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it was, but once again, that's a creative decision. Like when you're working on film, the film studio is the label, and then the director is the artist. And it has to fit to what the film is doing, what the narrative is doing. There might have been some great Isaac Hayes music that was created in the 70s that was there, but that maybe didn't fit to a 2020 narrative that they were trying to get done and what that needed to sound like. I'm not sure exactly what it is, once again, because I wasn't privy past the, that'd be dope. Okay, cool. Call me when y'all got it together. And I never got the call. You know what I'm saying? But that does also, it also means take the music that we have, and there's a new movie called Hot Dude. And Hot Dude is kind of like Shaft. He ain't really him. So Isaac, take the music and get a director and shoot your own movie.
That's the other option. In that movie, I saw Shaft, though. They did license a lot of different songs. I Ain't No Joke by Eric B. and Rakim. I heard some Naughty by Nature. I heard some Das Effect in there.
Okay.
And so it may have been a creative thing because I think they definitely wanted to make it contemporary to today. But yeah, man, that was kind of interesting.
But to speak to that, there's new music that's on top of the charts right now that has Isaac Hayes samples in it. So sometimes I don't think it's necessarily making the time fit because we all sample Isaac Hayes.
Yeah,
and
there's
we can
something
make
creative
it
that
work.
happened in the process for sure. But once again, I can't call it because I wasn't there.
Salaam Remi, man, we're celebrating
I
box
love
talk.
all of them though. I
Yeah.
love Isaac. I love New Line Similar. Tim. Y'all all my friends. I like you.
Salaam trying to get that money. Okay, Marquette in North Carolina. What you want to say, Marquette?
Hey, Marquette.
Man, first and foremost, good morning, everybody.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, brother.
Man, I listen to this show every morning like I'm like a guest person up here. I got a surround sound on my desk, but I'm gonna keep it short. 'Cause I know Sway about to rush me.
You already know it, Marquette. He does. He's a listener. He's a citizen.
But listen though, I fell in love with Salaam Remi in 1992. My favorite song by Bismarck is Young Girl Blues, and I'm old school. I like to read the tape covers to see who produced what, who they want to think. And I'm like, I was saying your name wrong forever. I did not know who this dude was.
Right.
But what I want to touch on, my best work for you was that Mac Wild CD from 2013. Where did you come up with the concept of that
Love
song?
Story?
Like New York Love Story.
New York,
that
yeah.
one song. The beat never came on, it never dropped. And you know how you anticipate a song to have this beat, and it never. But the song was perfect. I still listen to that CD to this day.
You know what happened? Yeah, we had this beautiful song, and I had the Skull Snaps in there, dope ass breakbeat that Stiles used and a bunch of other people, and it's owned by the Sugar Hill family, the Robinsons, and they was trying to hit me for like half the publishing or something crazy for kicks and snares. So I just realized it started to sound better without their beat, and I spent like $5,000. Ooh. There you go. See, he's nice. He's put it together. It was chopped up a little bit more, but it basically was close to this. I found the exclusive, and then when they turned around, it's like half your publishing for that kick and snare. I was like, nah. How about I spend $2,000 on this orchestra and send you back home?
There it is.
So that's why it came out like that. But thanks. I know sometimes you wonder if anybody's ever heard the work that you do.
They always listen. Marquette, thank you, man. You're a super citizen, man.
That's Sway in the morning.
All right, yo.
All right, and don't forget to check out our podcast on
Pandora.
Yes, it's free. You can listen back since you listen all day, Marquette. Go to Pandora. To all the citizens, tell 10 of your friends to listen to the podcast. We're competing with Kevin Hart. All right, we got Jay from Maryland on the line. Jay, good morning.
Hey, Jay.
Good morning. Hey, it's Shay, but that's
Oh,
fine.
Shay, my bad. My
Hey,
bad.
Shay.
No problem. But I just wanted to know whether or not you guys have saw the Black Godfather, Clarence Avant story on Netflix.
Yes.
He's like you did?
Yes.
All right, that's all I wanted to know because they just aired it last week and I watched it and it was awesome about him being the connecting man and how he wanted everybody to get paid fairly, which is anybody in the music business, probably should know who he is because he had all of the connections from mobsters to Oprah Winfrey.
I started on
So,
June
I just wanted
7th.
to know
Yeah,
that.
it's up. If you get a chance, go to Netflix and check that out. It's very, very instrumental in the especially for Black Music Month. And it's been something. He's been an inspiration to all of us that make music. He's helped. He's helped me. He's helped. He's helped us without us even knowing he's helped us.
Clarence Avant. Yeah.
He'll raise the standard.
Absolutely. before the Russell Simmons.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, got to get to know who that is. Shay.
Yes.
We rock with you. You a citizen.
Yes, it's Sway in the morning.
All right. Tracy, you got a...
Yeah, Salaam, I'm wondering, because you've had an innumerable amount of successful collaborations, was there ever a time where you had to back away from a project because the vibe wasn't right or it moved in a direction that you just was not fucking with?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's happened a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the days, it was like, you know, if it was something I got paid the first half for and I didn't feel it,
yeah,
I'd be like, nah, you know what, we good. Don't worry about this. And I'll send it back. I sent the money back a couple times. So I was just like, I wasn't into it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, people were really surprised. Like, you don't want the money? Nah, no. My time is, no, that time wealth.
Number
I'm
one.
on that, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then recently I worked with the Icon that came down. I was really excited to meet with them. But it just, the vibe wasn't right, and I felt like I was going to end up depressed. You know what I'm saying? Working on stuff. And after Amy Winehouse passed, I needed some time too. I was turning 40. That's what made me go in the executive. Like, you know what? Let me be a coach for a minute. Let me get off the field, because when you're sitting down putting chord changes to people's problems, and then they still have the problem, it's like giving advice to people, and they still just keep wallowing in advice. Like, yo, I'm trying to help you out. You know, that happens all the time with friends. Like, yo, I'm trying to help you. And what did you just say? All right, you know what? I need to back up, because I can't live in the shit, is what me and Nas always say. That's nice. So really, what you say? I can't live in it, though.
Yeah.
I can try to pull you out of it, but I can't live in it because you continue to live in it.
Yeah,
every
you
day.
sinking, you're going to bring me down too.
Nah. So, you know, and when you collaborate with somebody, you're actually, I have to ingest whatever their conversation is. I have to ingest the song in order to spit it back out.
Yeah.
It's not like it just happens on its own. I ingest the music. I sit down and take in every thought, you know. So I usually, like, you know, come hither songs, come over and chill. Hey, you know, it's part of my conversation. Even the EPs that I plan on putting out, a lot of music I put out recently, you know, the Nas and Amy Winehouse record that I did, it was pretty much conversations of how I feel as well. So I feel like everything you hear from me going forward is also partly my conversation. When people come through my crib, if we talk about something, all right, let's put it out. And even if it doesn't all the way fit with what they want to do all the time for their albums, this is how my collaborations are going.
Salaam Remi is here. We're talking about the new EP he got with Joell Ortiz, Box Talk.
Box Talk.
Have you and Mark Ronson done anything? Collaborated since?
Nah, we've never been in a room more than 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so even with that project,
we never saw each other.
Y'all never saw. It was just you did half, he did half?
Yep. Amy, after she worked with me, then they asked her to work with him, and I kind of got her in a good headspace, and then she went and worked with him separately, but I never actually was in a room with him. I saw him at the award shows.
Did y'all pound at least?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
when I was, before I moved out of New York, the studio that I had last on 54th Street, his studio was above, you know. But we always were cool. Like, when I see him, like, hey, what's up? Good to see you. But I went to visit him one time in the studio in London. Yo, that's dope. What you doing? But I've never actually made a drop of music with him, with actually two opposite sides of the spectrum.
That's interesting. Salaam Remi is here. I want to get back to this Box Talk, because I got a chance to listen to it. And which one I want to play? Let's play Box Talk.
Box Talk.
Okay.
All right, let's do that.
All right.
Straight out to 1200.
There it is.
1995.
Box Talk. Box Talk. Box
The
Talk.
SP 1200?
All day.
What? Woo!
Box Talk. Box
Sway in the
Talk,
morning.
Box Talk.
Box Talk. We got Salaam Remi here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo.
Just looking at all the work he's done. I'm enjoying this conversation. When I listen to your music, I hear no agenda other than to, like, you know, people sometimes orchestrate or they architect music to fit an agenda, you know, to, I want airplay, I want whatever it is they want. I just hear creativity, you know, and it's, Joell Ortiz isn't the biggest rapper in the world, you know, but he's one of the dopest.
Right.
You know what I mean? What made you select him for this?
I first worked with Joell 12 years ago when he was on Aftermath. And he came down, we did a few songs, and that didn't pan out, like, for the songs to be released properly and stuff. But our chemistry was cool. So then in 2016, we'd always kept in touch, like, you know, hey, do a little verse on Own It for Mac Wiles or just whatever it was. But in 2016, when I wanted to do this project that became the No Ponte project, I reached out and was like, yo, let's work on something. And he was just always up for it, Most of all, it's cool people. You know what I'm saying? If I don't rock with somebody, then there's probably something wrong with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm usually easy to get along with and stay in the cut. And Joell was just cool. So all of my records at this point are just basically, you came by the crib, we had a convo. What was you talking about? The hip hop? Oh, you like that? Okay, cool. You like that jazz? And then we just vibing, and it comes out that organically. But also, my taste means that I want to feel something with the music. And all the music that I listen to, whether it's Marvin Gaye or reggae or James Cleveland or whatever it is, it has some type of emotion attached to it. So with this stuff, it's just me and Joell talking, but it's what I get when I'm talking to him. I want to hear how he sounded when he used to be rhyming with Stretch or different levels or whatever it is. And then also I get him to expand sometimes and try things that maybe he didn't see himself doing. But at the end of the day, his first thing is people. Second thing is, of course, they have to have the talent. And then whatever comes out of it, you got to have a little bit of a feeling. And if you feel it, that's what it is. It's not about if it's going to hit a chart. It's about whether or not you feel it, because that's going to last forever.
On this particular EP, when you say sometimes you help bring things out of him that he probably hasn't experienced yet, is there a song on this EP that was a little more challenging for him?
I wouldn't say it was challenging, but Shake That J-Lo, he definitely looked at me like, are you serious?
Why?
Because he thought it was funny, but it was really part of my sense of humor as well. You know, Shake That J-Lo. You know what I'm saying? I was being silly, and it was kind of like play around, but then once he took it, he took it to another level because he made the lyrics of it something that popped up on the next level.
Here it is.
Come on, shake that J-Lo. Baby, let me see you move that J-Lo. Ooh, so soft that J-Lo. So I wanna bite that J-Lo. Bounce that J-Lo, bounce it. Wiggle you outfit. Come climb that mountain. Look around at all this J-Lo. What they put in that J-Lo? No, that's not pudding, that's J-Lo. You can't tell the difference from J-Lo? Hello, J-Lo. Look how we wiggle. Come on, be nice and give me a little. Alright, let me smack that kid.
Sway in the morning, Shade 405. We got Salaam Remi here from that Box Talk EP. That Shake That J-Lo. Ross in Danbury, Connecticut. What up, Ross?
Hey, Ross.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great, man. You got a comment?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to shout out everybody on the show. Love what y'all doing for the culture.
Thank you.
And I have a question. So I heard the comparison you got made to Quincy Jones to DJ Khaled, and I feel like that's kind of unfair comment to or a comparison for DJ Khaled. I want to know if you guys feel like the newer generation is making comparisons to like the older generation. Quincy Jones is a composer, and Khaled is a producer now, but which also been composing. But it's an unfair comparison, like Salaam, was saying. So, like, people should just listen to the music and take the music for what it is,
I'll jump in there, and the fellas can too. Man, there's no comparison to Khaled and Quincy Jones, in my opinion. And Salaam Remi made a good point. Quincy has just been around decades longer, come from a different time period. And to your point, yeah, he's a composer, and what they did and done are similar in some ways. And I think Khaled is great for what he does. I think Quincy is iconic for what he does. But what I do like about it, we didn't bring this up. This was on Twitter. And I guarantee you there are hundreds of thousands of people who now know more about Quincy Jones because of this conversation than they ever did. And for that reason is why we entertain it. I don't even think Khaled would want to be compared to a Quincy Jones necessarily. But the fact that we're talking about Khaled and Quincy in the same conversation, I think he would enjoy that.
Right.
But to me, I think the fact that people are now going to learn about Quincy Jones is the bigger picture. Rich, you could jump on that and say what you think.
I think people are actually missing the actual definition of what Khaled really is. Khaled is an amazing A&R. That's what Khaled really, really is. Not to take anything away from his production skills and the producing that he does, but people don't realize that a real A&R is a producer. And your job is to also put people together and fill the gaps And that's what he's been doing very, very successfully.
Yeah.
So I think it's not really comparing him to Quincy Jones as a producer. I think it's establishing Khaled as himself as an amazing A&R on another level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's giving him more credit to what, he can take pride in and not try to say he's the next he's Quincy Jones. I think it's unfair to both of them.
Yeah.
It's unfair.
You want to jump on that, Salaam, or you already said
yeah,
I said what I said.
I mean, still back to my original point is that it's different times, different space. I mean, if you on the A&R tip, where he was the A&R as a title, like the Ross albums,
right?
Like Khaled A&R, a whole lot of Ross albums that when you would have thought Ross might have buckled, they came back harder with music. When different people were clowning them personally in life. The music was better than what everybody else was putting out, and they were able to stand up with that. So as far as being an A&R stand, but even as a producer and someone who's able to create and get in the studio, that's where he lives. Anything he's doing, where he's at, he has a studio with him. So it's a different space. And I just once again, it's a different set of time that you're going to have to look at and figure out what it is. Within every producer, there's some years where it just ain't pop.
Right.
Yeah. There's some years where it's different. There's some years where you're going to get back. You have to be able to look back at your career and say, wow, I could have done this different. I could have done that different. And the time's going to tell. I think in general, I've been places and somebody said, hey, you're like a Quincy Jones. I'm like, nah, we're going to chill with that.
Yeah.
I'm not with that. And I have composed movies, and I do have, a couple of big records 20 years back, 25 years back, or whatever it may be. And the time is still there where I'm still able, every year I've had a plaque, since 1992 or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just for whatever that is, I'm just saying I've been able to do that, but it's not like I'm looking for it, but I'm also a laid back person in the cut where Khaled is an artist. He is a aggressive person, like, yo, what's up? What you doing? Like, anytime I see him, like, you know what? I gotta play your new album. The music is the first conversation with him, and by him putting that first, he's always gonna find a way to do it. Just like you can never count Puff out, you can never count certain people out who always know where the pulse of the people are and where the pulse of the music is.
Right.
So, every project you get a chance to come back again, and then you get a couple in the basket. It's like a season. Do you count a great basketball player out after one season?
Right.
Nah, but you say that they're the greatest ever. Well, they're going to have to step back and take a look at this again. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, putting Dr. J next to LeBron. Different game.
Different game.
Hey, Ross, and salute to Khaled, though.
Salute to Khaled.
Absolutely.
Love what he's doing with the culture.
All right.
And love what you guys are all doing with the culture. God bless. Everybody stay up.
All right, you a citizen,
You too.
brother.
Sway in the morning.